To tell us more about the Ministry of Public Administration's career fair, upcoming career fair, I welcome to the Now Morning Show the Deputy Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Public Administration, Abigail Bino, and Colleen Galazzi, the Executive Director of Modernization and Service Improvement Division at the same ministry. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are we doing this morning?
Fabulous.
Thank you so much for waking up early on the day before the holiday to come and share with us. Definitely appreciate it. DPS, let me start with you. Can you give us a general idea? Because I think a lot of people may not be aware as to the role of the Ministry of Public Administration.
Good morning to the viewers of the Now Morning Show. And I'm with you. I hear you telling them, fabulous for those who have gone out to work today and for those who are joining us from their homes. Good morning. The Ministry of Public Administration's mandate is public service modernization. What that means is that we just use the most up-to-date technology, tools, resources to ensure that the public service on the whole is improving the way that it is operating. And the way that it's operating should benefit the citizens and other users of the services of the Ministry of Public Administration. We do three things essentially. We ensure that the public service officers have the latest skills and capabilities to execute on their jobs. So most persons might know us for our Public Service Academy because we train public service officers. We also involve in the property and real estate area. So we ensure that government office accommodation for the entire public service is at the levels they ought to be. So the spaces in which we serve the public is at a high standard, and the spaces in which 90,000 or so public officers operate from are conducive to their productivity. And in this third element, we also involve with modernizing public service delivery. So we work with agencies across the public service to ensure that how they deliver their public services, their processes, the digital technologies that they use, the facilities in which they operate, everything about their service delivery, we work with them to ensure that that is improved and we're delivering a high quality of service to all users of public services.
I have so many questions that are not related to what we came here to talk about now as you say this, but I will try to temper my desire to ask more of those questions.
Sure.
I do want to ask though, Ms. Galazzi, if you can let me know a little bit about how the Modernization and Service Improvement Division has been going in terms of, do you all relate a lot with Ministry of Digital Transformation? What sort of improvements have we seen since you've been there, or maybe since you've learned about coming to work there and stuff like that?
So I've been with the Ministry of Public Administration since 2014.
Nice.
So
I want to hear the changes.
I'm going on 10 years now.
Beautiful. So let me hear the changes in the last 10 years.
Our division is involved in a lot of enterprise-wide initiatives. And basically what that means, we develop programs and projects and initiatives to improve the way how services are delivered across the public sector,
right,
including the public service. Yeah, so we would have been involved in a number of initiatives going back to 2014. What we're currently involved in right now is what we call the Public Sector Performance Management System, whereby it's looking at organizational performance, not individual performance, yes, organizational performance, applying the principles of the balanced scorecard. We recently came out of a 5-day intensive, 10 days intensive training program, whereby we would have targeted the permanent secretaries, deputy permanent secretaries, and other senior government officers, looking at developing what we call commitment for results. And basically, this is an instrument that allows each ministry to document their objectives and their goals, their targets, their KPIs, also identify other ministries, departments, and agencies that they need to work with to achieve those KPIs for this given fiscal period. So we just came out of that initiative. That's a big thing for our division. Other things that we're involved in, of course, heavily into what we call the public service career. Public Service Week, as we would have started earlier on this year with several events. And we're now closing out with the Public Service Career Fair. Now, it's supposed to be Public Service Day. It's a one-day recognition. Yes, but we've been recognizing public service for beginning of April.
Yeah.
Yes, whereby we would have had our interministerial cricket competition, followed by the curry duck competition, and then, curry duck.
And I remember there was a marathon or a race in town as well, or something
Well,
like
I
that.
don't think that was associated with our particular event.
All right.
Yes, and
Okay.
then we'd have had our expo and awards, and now the final event is the public
Career
service
fair.
careers. Yeah.
All right. So, DPS, tell me, what's the goal of the career fair?
Well, I want to talk a little bit about Public Service Week before we get into
No
the
problem.
career
Sure.
fair. So the United Nations internationally recognizes Public Service Day on the 23rd of
Yes.
June every year.
Right.
And it's a day in which we recognize all of the persons who give service and their daily jobs are career servants, and the value and contribution of the public service to national development in the different countries. And as Colleen articulated, we just made a week of it, and the week is spanning from since probably about March to now
Nice.
in October, right? And
Longest week ever.
So she talked about some of the events that was about bringing the public service together. We really want to ensure that persons who work throughout this vast service, 400 plus entities, are connecting with each other and therefore breaking down the silos and building the camaraderie. And one of the other aspects is showcasing the different work that we do across the public service, and our expo would have done that. The career fair is all about engaging the younger persons in society and giving them a sense of what potential there could be in the jobs and the careers available in the public service, because Colleen talked about 10 years. I'm going on 18. But when you get into public service, it's 30 years. So it's career. And that's what we wanted to highlight. You know, people just get into the public service and it's 30, 40 years of career, of work, of ministry, of love, delivering to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. So we want to highlight the diverse careers available to school leavers, graduates, even younger ones. You know, what's the potential for you in terms of the job landscape in
All right.
Trinidad and Tobago?
So I love that you spoke about the potential and you spoke about the careers as well. So this weekend I was at a youth conference, and one of the things that came up was that, you know, this generation now, the young people, they're not interested in staying in the same job for 30 years. They're not interested in staying in the same job for 10 years. They're ready to go after 3-5 years for the most. They want to stay in one job. So what opportunities would there be in public service to be able to say, well, yes, you can get into public service, but you can still move around, because, as you mentioned, over 400 different entities that fall under in different industries. Yeah.
Yes.
So can you share with them, you know, what sort of what's the span we're talking when you talk
Sure.
about careers that you can have?
Sure. In the public service, you can work for as little as 6 months. There are also 3-year contracts, and of course, there's the permanent jobs. You know, long time it was about getting
Get a good
permanent
government work.
So those opportunities do exist for persons who are looking for not so long, but I can tell you something, it draws you in, and you end up making it a career. And even if it's just a stepping stone for those who will pop in and pop out, it is some of the most interesting and valuable work you will ever do when you realize you're giving service to your fellow man in Trinidad and Tobago.
When is the career fair happening?
It's happening. We've got a mini road show, by the way, right? Starting on the 3rd of October
Nice.
at the Southern Academy of Performing Arts. Then we go to Tobago on the 11th of October, which will be at Shore Park. And we head back to Trinidad, which will be on the 25th of October at Napa.
All right, so we have 3 opportunities for this career fair for different persons to partake. I mean, if you want to come all 3, would it be the same vendors at all 3?
Basically the same vendors. In Tobago, we'll have more Tobago representatives from that region.
All right, so I understand that the ministry recently launched a new public services career portal. I'm not sure which one of you all want to take this one, but tell us a bit more about the objective of that initiative.
The Public Service Career Portal will be relaunched on Thursday, October 3rd at our SAPA venue.
Okay.
All right, we'll just have a little bit of rebranding on the website, but it's a website that you can access via your digital device, whether it's a mobile device, whether it's a laptop, and you can search we're going to get the numbers up, but the 1,600 different jobs that are available across the public service. And when we talk about public service, I want to make sure people are really clear about what we're talking about, because people hear public service and they think maybe just about the civil service, and that's the persons who work in the 23 ministries,
right,
and they do clerical work, and you see us in our jackets and whatnot going to work. But the public service actually comprises the civil service, the police service, the teaching service, the judicial and legal service, the prisons service, and the fire services, right? So we have all of those jobs in the portal, in the website. You can search, and you can search, right, okay, police, and see what that brings up, and you'll see a set of job descriptions, and you could read and get a sense of what these jobs are about. And you can search by your degree. Maybe you're studying biology and you want to know, well, what job
in the
requires
field. Yeah.
biology, and you search that and you'll get the job descriptions coming up for you. And what we're going to put on that, it's going to be another phase in the future, but what we're going to do is put links to the various ministries where they advertise vacancies,
right,
so persons will be able to connect to a vacancy and see what the possibilities are for them in joining the public service. And of course, it's all about ensuring that the next batch of recruits are able to identify what are the opportunities there for them. And this is not just for the persons who are Form 5 graduating. This is also for public officers.
Okay.
Because they work in the service and sometimes they're not aware of the vast set of opportunities available to them as well.
In the service
so
as well.
It's going to be a public website, publicservicecareers.gov.tt, and they can go in and search, and they might be wondering, is this in my ministry? I wonder what this job is like. And they can go in there and search as well.
Nice. And you said it's launching on Friday?
It's launching on Thursday. It's relaunching
Launching.
on Thursday, October 3rd, in time for our SAPA leg of the career fair.
Okay, nice.
And it's going to be available, of course. It's there right now. It's not in the state that we wish
Right.
to.
So we have some
it's
upgrades coming,
workable,
yes,
but
and we can look forward
some
to on the
beautiful
3rd of
upgrades
October.
are coming.
All right, well, ladies, let me say thank you very much for joining us this morning and just scratching the service. I think we have a lot to discuss when it comes to the Ministry of Public Administration, but we don't have time for that this morning. I'll have to ask you to come back another
My
time.
minister will be happy to come back. And let's just say good morning to Senator the Honorable Alison West.
You know, I saw her
Minister of
just last
Public
night,
Administration.
last evening,
Enjoying some pan?
enjoying some pan on the plaza.
Yes.
But ladies, thank you very much for joining us this morning and all the best going forward, of course, with the career fair happening again on the 3rd of October at Sapa, the 11th of October at Shore Park, Tobago, and the 25th of October, it's happening at Napa in Port of Spain. You want to get there from 9 a.m. and get all the information, learn as much as you possibly can. We take a quick break and come back with more on the Now Morning Show. Stay tuned.
I'm telling you.